Hello everyone, welcome back to Debzie's Delight. Guess what? Today we are making Ghana's all-time famous spicy sauce. I mean hot chili sauce. You know, right? Shito. A lot of non-Ghanaians call this the black sauce, and this is about the best contribution Ghana has made to the culinary world. Shito is a universal sauce and can be used with almost any meal, and a touch of it will take your meal to a whole new level. Let's get straight into it. You need your ginger, your garlic, white and red onion bulbs. I've got one shallot here. I didn't have a lot at home today. You also need your natural spices. This is black peppercorns known as esurisa, your cloves known as pepper, anise seed known as inkitinkiti, your shrimp cube, coriander seeds, cumin seeds, rosemary, and grain of celery. I'm using only one, also known as huintia. Also need your shrimp powder, your herring powder, powdered chili. This is extra hot. You also need your chili flakes, coconut oil, tomato puree, and this is leftover oil. It's always best when you use leftover oil from frying maybe fish or chicken or any meat at all.
And of course, some habanero peppers.
Don't forget to check the description box for the exact quantities of ingredients, okay?
To enhance the flavors of my dry ingredients, I'll roast it a bit in my skillet by separating the hard ones from the semi-soft or normal ones. This is because when I blend it, I want some bits in there, and the hard ones will remain very hard in your shito, and you don't want to bite into any hard spice. This is totally optional, but it does enhance the flavors of your natural spices, so be sure to try it out, okay? Once that is done, I'll repeat the same for the hard ones and transfer it to my clay mortar, grind it a bit into a powdered form, set that aside, and begin with chopping my vegetables.
The work in shito is only about cutting your vegetables and blending, and the rest is just pouring and stirring. So allow me to chop it all. I'll be right back. Whew, that was something.
I'll then blend my onion, garlic, ginger and pepper into batches, and for each batch, I'll make sure I add some of the dry spices.
So once it's transferred to the blender, you need to blend it with some oil, and this will speed up the cooking process, because when cooking shito, you don't want to incorporate any water at all into it, as that will make it take very long to cook. So this is the last batch. When I'm blending my ingredients, I don't make it too smooth, as I want a bit of bits in my shito. So yeah, this is just how it looks. Not too smooth.
Make sure to use a big pot when making your shito, because it tends to splatter a lot and you don't want to hurt yourself or make a big mess in your kitchen. One thing about shito as well is that it uses a lot of oil, as the onions, ginger and garlic soaks up the oil, and the oil also serves as a preservative, so be sure to use enough oil. I'll carefully add my blended ingredients into my semi-heated oil under medium-low heat, as you don't want to make the oil too hot, or else you will burn yourself once you're adding your blended ingredients. Be sure to stir constantly as you go, especially when you're using a non-stick pan, as you don't want the burnt bits from the base to get into your shito, okay? Also, I would suggest you clean as you go, as shito tends to splatter a lot and you don't want to do too much cleaning after you're done cooking, so I always clean as I go to make it easier to clean once I'm done. After about 20 minutes of frying, our base has reduced in size and some of the moisture has dried out, so we will add our tomato puree. When I'm making my shito, I only use tomato puree as shito's number one enemy is moisture. So you don't want to use any fresh tomatoes in there, or else it will prolong your cooking process, and the tomato puree works just fine. So what I make sure to do is to leave some of the moisture in the base so that it will cook the tomato puree, because the tomato puree normally has a bitter bite to it, and we don't want to have that sensation at all when we are having our shito. Also, when making your shito, you don't want to add a lot of tomato puree, as that will make your shito tasty. It will be just tomatoey and you don't want that, okay? Please be sure to stir constantly, as when you leave it for a split second, actually, your shito is going to burn. Once it burns, it's going to be very bitter, so be sure to stir constantly, okay? After another 20 minutes of frying, I'll add my chili powder, stir it to combine, cover it, keep stirring until I add my next ingredient. After another 5 minutes or so, I'll go ahead and add my shrimp seasoning, some salt. As you can see, I'm using sea salt, which is very healthy and rich in minerals. One thing about shito is you need to season it before you add your shrimps and your herring powder, because I've realized that if you season or add some more salt after you have added your shrimp powder and herring powder, your shito becomes dry. That is just something I've observed. I stand to differ again. We are into a total of about 70 minutes of frying. I'll add my chili flakes, my shrimp powder and herring powder, and stir it to combine. Whenever I'm adding an ingredient or stirring it, I always turn the heat to low heat, because as I said, shito splatters a lot and you don't want to burn yourself, so be sure to lower it just a bit and add in your ingredient or stir it, okay? Now for extra flavor, I'll add in about 3 tablespoons of coconut oil. I'll then adjust the oil again, I mean the sunflower oil, as the shrimp powder and herring powder soaked up the oil, and we need oil to preserve the shito, so adjust the oil when needed, okay? I'll keep stirring until the end. Now, do you see the foam on top of our shito? It's an indication that our shito is almost ready, and the aroma here is divine. At this point, you want to keep an even closer eye on your shito, as if it burns, it's going to be very bitter, and that will be it. There is no way of making your shito any better. You've spent a lot of time, so please adjust the heat to very low heat and let it simmer through, stirring it constantly. And after another total of 10 to 15 minutes more, our shito is ready and good, and it looks so beautiful. If you want it darker, fry it a bit longer, but be careful you don't burn it. Shito demands a lot of TLC, tender love and care, and after a total of 1 hour and 30 minutes in the kitchen, it's ready. Let it cool down completely. Store it in a jar, but be careful there is no water in there, or else all your hard work will be in vain. Your shito will get spoiled. And you can see the oil settled on top beautifully. That will preserve your shito. Whenever you want to scoop some, scoop it with a dry fork. Be careful you don't soil the sides. If you do soil it, please clean it with a tissue, or else it would go off from top to bottom. Just look at that. It's so chunky, it smells amazing, and it tastes even better. It goes well with so many dishes, with rice, with chicken, just name it. The choice is all yours.
There you have it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, kindly do so and click on the little bell so that whenever I post a video, you will be instantly notified. See you in my next video, and until we meet again, I love you all, but God loves you the most. Bye for now.